Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Porsche Macan. This is a 2018 Porsche Macan that I have toured. I've had it for about 24 hours now, and not going to lie, out of all the cars that I've been touring in the last few months, this one was the one that I was most excited about, and to be just quite honest up front, probably the most disappointed after driving it for a day. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I do not like about this thing, and I'll say a few things that I do like about it. But for anyone interested in buying one, I would highly suggest driving around for a day, because I believe that the value is not there. But as anything in life is, the more expensive it is, the less you get per dollar. Meaning, if you spend 50 grand for something, you're going to get a pretty decent value, but if you spend 80 grand for something, you're probably not going to get as much value per dollar that you're spending. Now, we are next to a freeway, so I'm going to do most of this vlog inside and talk about some things that I do not like about this and some of the things that I do. Now, let's do all the positive things up front. One, the interior is phenomenal. I love this tan interior, and I just feel like if other companies like Ford and Toyota would make brown interior or a colored interior more popular, they could just sell it for a lot more. For some reason, we as human beings want to pay a little bit more for these colored interiors. Just, I don't know, it just kind of looks nice. But, and also before we get into some of the negatives, like the buttons feel really good compared to like what I'm going to compare this car to mostly is going to be my 2017 Ford Explorer Sport. It is like a fully loaded one, and I believe this is probably a baseline Porsche. The Porsche Macan ranges anywhere from $50,000 to $70,000 depending on what package you get, and a Ford Explorer ranges anywhere from $30,000 to about $50,000 depending on which one you get. I have the most expensive Ford Explorer. This is probably the cheapest Macan. They both have an MSRP of around $50,000, so it's a pretty even comparison of what I'm basically comparing this to on a daily basis. So, the buttons, first of all, the buttons are great. And when you get into like Fords and Toyotas and like those cheaper model cars, they generally have like a lot of plasticky kind of stuff. And things like up here, these just feel solid, like solid buttons. Now, that's some of the good things about this. The interior feels really nice. The Porsche obviously looks really nice as like a car. I'm personally not a big fan of Porsches, and this is one of the first Porsches that I've driven, so take that as a grain of salt. I'm not a Porsche connoisseur or anything like that. But I've just kind of, after this trip, I feel like if you're gonna get a Porsche, it's gotta be like a sports car Porsche, because that's what they do best. And anyways, let's get into some of the things that I do not like about this car. One, I gotta be honest, I rent a lot of different cars, I drive a lot of different cars. My friend's running a Turo business out of my house, and I've driven a lot of different cars basically. This car took the longest to set up the Bluetooth and all that other stuff. I thought it would be quite simple. Unfortunately, it took me quite a while to get the whole Bluetooth set up. One thing that I find really weird is the car has the word iPod in it, as if iPods are still a thing, as if iPods have been a thing for a long time. Like, why is the option of iPod even written in there? Now, of course, that's a really silly thing but I was just like, okay, iPod option. That's kind of strange. One of the next things that kind of really annoys me, if you get into the car and you haven't been in it for a little bit, it just resorts back to AM radio, which is something that my Ford Explorer also has a problem with doing. When you get in the car, it does not remember the Bluetooth device setting and go back to your Bluetooth. If nothing is playing from your phone, it just resorts back to AM radio, which means the car will just turn back on to some random station. Who listens to AM radio anyways? Let's move on past that, because it seems like all cars in the 2018 kind of have that same exact problem. They don't remember the Bluetooth device and go back to it. The next thing that I have a problem with is I'm driving a Porsche. I felt like when I got in this car, it's at least going to be really fast. It's at least going to sound really good. No, it sounds like a Toyota Camry. Like, it doesn't sound good at all. In fact, I was quite disappointed, because in my Ford Explorer, that thing sounds like a beast. And when you get into this thing, like, you're not going to hear a very good sound comparison because we'll walk outside and show you. But it sounds, here's a quick rev. It just doesn't sound good. It sounds like, from my opinion, if you're going to get a Porsche, it should at least sound really good like a race car or something like that. Unfortunately, this does not. And yeah, see, we just turned off the car and it actually remembered to go back to my Bluetooth device. So that's because something is playing. But if you don't have something actively playing in the car, it goes back to AM radio, which is like usually some like random either Spanish station, static, a Christian radio or something like that. It always ends up on some random station. But anyways, some of the other things that I do not like is, I mean, for a car, like for an SUV, it doesn't have very much space in the back. The space, my seat's pulled up pretty far forward. It's not the most spacious car. It's not that great in my opinion. One of the next things that I really don't, I just feel like at this year in a Porsche, all cars should be push to start. This is not push to start. In fact, I got in the car and I was quite surprised yesterday that it was not push to start. But let's move on past that. A few other things like the trunk button, not gonna lie. The trunk, it's kind of nice that as you are pushing it down, you can stop it like halfway. Unlike my car or something like my Ford Explorer, it's just up or down. This one you can kind of control down. If I want to leave it down, I can leave it halfway down or something. Not really sure why you would need to leave it halfway down, but it's kind of like a weird, interesting thing. But however, on the way up, there's only one all the way up. So, random little thought, but we were putting stuff in the trunk and I was like, wow, you actually have to hold it all the way down. It's kind of strange. But overall, like, there's a ton of buttons in here, and I feel like as a daily driver, you could get used to having all these buttons. But right now, to me, I'm just like, dude, there's so many freaking buttons. It's almost a little bit like overkill. A little bit too many buttons, in my opinion. But other than that, like, what I feel like you're paying for is the name, Porsche. The interior is, I would say, 20% better. So that's what you're really paying for, is the interior, which is validated, because if you're driving a car, what should be most important to you is the interior and how you feel in the car. And in general, I would say I do feel like this is a much classier, nicer car. Like a lot of the buttons and things, they work better. However, I just feel like the technology for being a Porsche should be above the Ford Explorer. In my opinion, it is equal, if not slightly below. And one thing that kind of bugs me is the backup camera. The backup camera kind of sucks on this thing, and I'm only comparing it to like the Toyota Supra that I drive on a daily basis and my Ford Explorer, which is 1 year younger or 1 year older than this thing and has a much nicer rear view camera. I just feel if you're getting a Porsche, come on. The quality should at least look like a freaking iPhone or something like that. You know, it shouldn't be worse than that. But those are just my positives and negatives of the Porsche Macan. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you guys going to buy one? Are you interested in buying one? Personally, I am going to veer hard off buying a Porsche SUV ever. If I was going to buy a Porsche, it would definitely be a sports car. However, I just feel like I would rather own a Toyota Supra than I would like a Porsche 911 or something. I don't know. I just really like them a lot. But I'm not a big fan of Porsche, and I'm not gonna lie, I was really excited about this video, and I'm just much less excited about Porsche as like an SUV after renting this car. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you own one? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.